Welcome back to INACSL 2024. My name is Teresa Gore, and I am the content manager for HealthySimulation.com and a past president of INACSL. And I am here talking with lovely Jenny Roy and Carrie Miller. And we are going to have wonderful conversation about the INACSL Simulation Education Program, how it kind of evolved, and the progress, and then the cornerstones of best practice. So I remember that both of us have had histories with the preceptor of this program of ISEP. It was the INACSL CAE Healthcare Simulation Fellowship Program. And then I participated as a facilitator, and you were a participant, right? You got to use your mic there. Okay.
That's correct. I was a participant in 2017, and it was the Seattle group, and being able to spend 12 months really looking at standards of best practice and simulation design, and it was just so invigorating. And I'm like, yes, I'm learning. And then to see it evolve into ISEP has been an amazing journey.
So ISEP, can you tell us, so when the fellowship was there, it was all in person, and it was it was a long commitment.
It was.
And then when we started ISEP, it was a long commitment too.
Yes,
so
it is.
Let's talk and let everybody who's here today and the ones who will watch this on YouTube, kind of let them know what ISEP is.
So my understanding of ISEP really is that it's not 12 months anymore, it's 6 months, but it's really an opportunity to look at how do you use the simulation standards of best practice in your own simulation center, how do you design simulation, and having an opportunity to have somebody support you through that process, not only working in groups, but also working with a facilitator, and being able to integrate those into your own simulation center. So it's been an incredible journey. I'm one of the facilitators now. This is my third round, and I just love the energy of the students and really getting to learn about what's going on across the country and internationally, because I have a couple international students. Yeah, it's been great.
So for you?
So I took over as the chair of the ISEP committee about 2 years ago, I think about 2 years ago, and it is a very robust program. I went through all the content, and it was great. And I also got to see, what the students see. So That was very helpful. We have small groups, about 5 or 6 students per facilitator.
Okay.
Very seasoned facilitators. Carrie does an awesome job. And they work one-on-one with the students, giving them feedback, personal feedback on each one of their assignments. The culmination of the end in Module 12 is a simulation. So they design it all along. It's kind of like a build-as-you-go project. And it is, you have to commit some time to it, but it's great information.
So what I'm hearing is you're doing the standards itself, is that you getting feedback, you're outside yourself, it's going to be peer reviewed, and then you have a chance to present it and share with that other cohort, right?
Lots of discussion between the group, the individual groups. I think they do the entire cohort with the discussion boards. So outside of your little group, your 5 or 6, you get feedback from the entire group.
Oh wow, that is fantastic, because that's what we always talk about. Hey, does anybody have a simulation on this that they can share? You're looking then that the simulations that are going out are based on the standards, correct?
Yes. They're
So
heavily threaded throughout the ISEP program.
So when you're looking at ISEP, what are some of the modules? So what are some of the focuses? Because I heard you talking about you build the simulation. So can you tell us some of the things that they'll be exposed to?
I have to go right back to the design standard.
Yeah.
Identifying a need, being able to pull in your content experts, being able to look at the objectives, the outcomes, how does this link back to your program, being able to then think about your backstory and your case study, and looking at, well, how do we want, what's our fidelity? What modality do we want to use? What do we hope our learners are going to achieve? What environment do we want them to be in? How are we going to evaluate this? And how do we create that psychologically safe learning environment? Even if it's a very simple simulation like orientation or an escape room, or if you have this incredibly complex cardiovascular simulation, how do we want to maintain that psychologically safe environment? It's so, so important. And they get a lot of support in the ISEP program to do that.
So you're talking about the simulations that they're building. Is it just undergraduate nursing, or are there other Okay,
It
all right.
varies. There's lots of varied participants. They also get some instruction on some specialty simulation, like
Okay.
virtual simulation, use of standardized patients. So
So you're looking at the modalities, delivery. It's
Correct.
every aspect of this. So someone who completes this program should be able to do a little bit of course mapping and simulation. Okay, because you're saying that you've got to link them, right?
they should come out with a simulation that they can actually use. They've gotten critique on it the whole way, and so they come out with some really good simulations.
All right. So you said this is cohort based, right? So you go through together, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now that you have ISEP, there is a newer program called the Cornerstones of Best Practice. So who would like to tell me about the Cornerstones?
So the cornerstones, they are based on the core four:
Okay.
pre-brief, debrief, facilitation, and professional integrity. Each one of the modules was developed by an expert in that area. They actually worked on the standards, I believe, each one of the lead authors on the modules. They're asynchronous.
Okay.
You can complete them asynchronous, and at the end there is a workshop where it's synchronous, and you work individually in small groups with each one of the facilitators on working towards the endorsement document.
Okay. So this is it could be a precursor to the endorsement,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
So that is why you selected those four, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. So what is the benefit for members or for anybody in simulation to do this, to enroll in the Cornerstones of Best Practice?
Well, I think the benefit we've always got to come back to, it helps us provide good simulation, good quality, high quality simulation.
Right.
I mean, that's what the standards are. We give examples of exemplars that you can use to document your facilitators' education, debriefing skills, pre-briefing skills. So it really gives you that basic underpinning of what good simulation is. So that's the most important benefit.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yes.
It also really helps to be able to identify your gaps. And so if you're going through these standards and you're like, oh, I need to do this differently, or I wasn't aware of that, I think because it is very focused, it really helps individuals to identify those gaps and then go, okay, here's some areas I need to work on. Because we all have to work on, none of us are perfect.
Oh, yeah.
There's always something to work on and to improve.
Or we had it, and that was great with the evidence from 5 years ago. But what does the evidence now tell us? Because that is the thing, is that this is such a live,
Yes.
and it just keeps growing as the evidence that's out there. And that's the beauty of this, is that it doesn't matter how much you know, there's always more that you can learn, or looking at it from a different lens.
I really appreciate that in the standards, that it's a living document.
Right.
And when we were working on the standards, I kept remembering that the work that we were doing in the early 20s is going to change. And I know the new standards are going to be coming out in the next year or two, and it's going to be different.
Yeah.
It's always changing, always evolving, and always getting better.
As part of the first board that wrote the first standards, we started in 2009 and published them in 2011. I always enjoy so much of reading how this has grown as the evidence grows. Oh, well, we just had an inkling. It's what our gut told us. But now we have the science to back it up, and that's the beauty of the healthcare simulation standards, is that we get an opportunity to do this. And now it's not learning by the seat of your pants. It's not learning by what you think. There's evidence behind it, and there's standards behind it. And that's, I think, going to help us with those outcomes.
And as we develop the other 6 modules,
Yeah.
you're going to see that.
Okay.
You're going to see a building on that. So
So
that'll
Cornerstones is going to continue to grow, is what I'm hearing.
that is
Okay.
A correct statement.
So I love that because now you're hearing it here first, folks. Okay, is this is going to continue to go, and it's not going to just stop with those 4. It's going to continue. So if you like what you've seen, just hang out. It's going to get better.
I think that was the expectation. Let's
Yep.
get them all 10 done. Yeah, it's going to be great.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to ask each one of you, what do you want everybody here to walk away with? Some tidbit of information, either about the ISEP program or the cornerstones of best practice. What do you want people who watch this or people who are present here now, what do you want them to know? What's that one nugget?
One nugget.
Yeah.
Engage
or 2.
just really enjoy learning, be a lifelong learner, and just every single day. There's just something to learn every day. And the ISEP program and the Cornerstone program really give you an opportunity to learn and to grow and to constantly improve. So that's what I love about both of them.
And I think there's something for everybody. There's something for every level. The ISEP appeals to maybe a new simulation educator,
Okay.
new simulationist. So I think that there's something offered out there for everyone at every level.
And that's what I love about coming to this conference. You get to come to the conference, you get to interact, you get to get invigorated because you're with your sim peeps. You don't have to explain to anybody what you do because we all do it. And you get to then start building. And then, so how do you keep that up throughout the year? And how do you keep it up year after year? It's these programs, it is being involved. And if you've been through the programs, always see what you can give back to the programs. And so, so I just want to kind of put a challenge out to everyone in healthcare simulation to continue to grow your professional development because we all have something to learn. And please just stop by, talk to the people at the INACSL booth there and have a chance to meet the board members, talk to the committee members, the committee leaders, and give back to everybody that's been helping we all grow and develop. So once again, Teresa Gore with HealthySimulation.com, and we're very happy to be here on the opening night of the Exhibit Hall INACSL 2024.